Hi guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing great. My name is Mels. If you're new here, I talk about makeup mostly, and most importantly if you ask me. Today we're gonna be doing a full face of the brand Nabla Cosmetics. It is an indie brand from Italy. If you don't know me, I am Italian, but I moved to the UAE, so it's good that I keep in touch with brands that are coming from my country. I really like Nabla Cosmetics, and I figured that I had enough products to show you a full face and to talk a bit about their products, so that if you are uncertain if you want to buy from them, if you want to get anything or maybe the newest release, you will have more information about it. Especially today we're gonna be focusing on the newest products, which are their new blushes. I have 3 shades here, and their new matte lipsticks, because honestly these are my new favorite. You don't want to miss checking this out. Before we jump into it, I would really appreciate if you took 1 second of your time to subscribe, maybe like this video, you know, pals, hang out with pals, so you're welcome here. But without further ado, let's get right into the full face. While I prime my face with this Madagascar Centelle Ampoule, if you're new here, I talk about this basically in my last 3 or 4 videos. This is my favorite primer, my favorite makeup base. It's nourishing, plumping, it makes every foundation look great. If you haven't checked it out, I will leave it in the description. So we're gonna do a full face, but what I think is a full face, meaning I'm not really a bronzer type of girl. I do use it sometimes, but oh my god, why am I losing eyelashes? I do use it sometimes, but it's not, you know, a constant in my makeup. I don't have a bronzer here from Nabla, but I wouldn't normally use one. That's why I haven't bought one. Otherwise, it would be here. But they do offer bronzers. They have like luminous powder bronzers, and I heard that they are great. None of this, none. I'm gonna be starting with my base. Nabla offers a foundation. It's called the Skin Realist. This is basically a skin tint, and I know that now is the time for skin tints to be popular, so I really like it. Just one note, their line tends to be a bit on the yellow side. I am neutral pink leaning, so it isn't like the greatest match there is, but it still is a skin tint, so I can make it work. I wish the Nabla did more like neutral shades though. And the thing about this skin tint is that it has more coverage. My hair is getting everywhere. It has more coverage than your classic skin tint, and I noticed that this lasts very well during the day. It doesn't bunch up, it doesn't start drying out, and I have dry skin, so it's super important that foundation still looks good after a few hours, because otherwise I look like a mummy. I definitely wasn't planning on putting my foundation in my hair, and you can see how this is going on. It is super natural, not cakey. It doesn't look like I have anything on my face, but it is making my complexion overall smoother. If you want more coverage, you can build this up. Like right now, I pumped a little bit more than necessary, and I'm just adding it on my cheeks. It looks so good. I was even considering buying another one, and then I had to stop myself because I have enough makeup, and I honestly have enough foundations to last me the rest of the year probably. I'm also using this as an eyeshadow base. I'm not gonna go in with concealer. I don't use concealer. I know, don't come for me. Honestly, concealer, at least this is what they taught us in my makeup artist academy. They taught me that concealer is just full coverage foundation, and after that I could not spend my money on another concealer. But to be honest, I am blessed enough that I don't have really big under eye bags. But Nabla does do concealer, if you're interested. Okay, so this is my base. It looks super natural, not like glowy, one of those newest tints that they leave you looking wet. And here I have 2 pimples, because it's that time of the month. For my brows, I always use this Kiko pencil. It isn't even the greatest eyebrow product there is. I just don't really care about my eyebrows that much, so I refuse to spend money on them. That's how it is. But let's get into the eyes. I have here the Nabla Side by Side Nude Palette. I think this is one of their best sellers because this is a nude palette that has it all. You have a gray scale here, you have some terracotta shades, some more neutrals, some lighter shades up here. This, if you are looking for a palette to travel with and that can do multiple looks, this is a very good palette for that. The only con about it is that it tends to be a bit on the warm side, of course not considering this part here. All these shades here tend to be a bit more warm. I wish that there were more neutral shades like this halftime here. There is no reason why it is as warm as it is, but overall great palette. Today I think I want to do the terracotta look because I want to do a warm burnt cheeks type of blush. That's what has been getting to me lately, and I think it's because I saw a lot of TikToks with this type of looks, but honestly, I don't mind trends. I know that there are some people that say that trends aren't a good thing. I'm using the shade Half Time, by the way, just as a base, this shade here. They say that trends aren't good because you cannot just adopt a new style because it's trendy. You should not adopt a new style just because it's trendy. And while I do agree with that, you should not be forced into wearing a makeup look or even just fashion items that you don't really vibe with. I also think that trends are very fun if you're just exploring, or if you're like me, you just love trying things out. And honestly, there are so many times that I've been surprised about how something looked on me, and I started wearing that not because it was trendy, but because I discovered something new. Does that make sense? Anyway, there's not a lot to tell about this palette. It really performs well. It's easy to blend. It's nothing we haven't seen yet. It's not a multi-chrome, super original eyeshadow palette, but these are the shades and the type of palettes that sell more and that people overall lean into for their everyday. I'm going into burnt sienna here. If you go with a lighter hand like I did here, you can slowly build up the shade without having too much pigment. But I've seen this palette work on dark-skinned people as well, so it's very inclusive, very universal. I think everybody can wear this and be satisfied with what they come up with. They also launched a mini version of this, but more on the pink side. It's very pretty, but again, nothing out of the box. If you're looking for a palette that is more weirder, I do recommend checking out their Read My Mind palette because it is divided in quads and it has some blues, it has some colors, some fun colors, and the quality is always the same as this palette. They have been consistent with it. They also have a single eyeshadow system. I think I made a video about it. I like that. The single eyeshadow system is way pricier than their palettes. I think the formulation there is different, so to each their own. I really like this burnt sienna shade. It reminds me of a shade that was in one of the ABH palette. I think it was in Modern Renaissance. I think I want this to be a bit more reddish, so I'm just adding more. Just to clean the edges of my eyeshadow, I'm gonna use the shade Rarity, which is this whitish shade here. I do this a lot, no matter the palette. I just like going in with a cream shade and softening and blurring the edges. If you don't feel like you're an ace at blending, try this trick. Now I'm going into tempera in Italian, which is this deeper brownish terracotta, and I'm going in the outer edges to create some dimension. And now for the shade that I think is the star of the show, this Better Society shade. This is like a bronzy shade with it has some bronze shimmer but also some blue shimmer. It's incredibly nice. I don't think you'll be able to see the blue, and it gives a lot of light on your lid. Honestly, this is the shade that made me purchase this palette. And they have another one in the same type of formula here, which is the shade Body and Soul, but it is like more of a pink, like rose gold type of shade. I will use this one since I have it on my finger. I'll use this here in the inner corner. I think that this look, like with this shimmer, would look great if you are on the beach at the sunset or just going over for a date night there at dinner. Candlelight, like this is the type of shimmer that really stands out when you have a specific set of lighting. There's so many like different shades and pinpoints. I have had zero fallout during the process, by the way. If you are interested about that type of stuff, I normally am not. For the lower lash line, I'm just picking up a pencil brush and I'm going over the same shades I used on my lid. Honestly, if I don't do a lower lash line, I feel like my look is not complete, and I know that there are people that don't like it. I personally do, because I feel like there's a lot of space from my eye and my lips. Like here, there's a lot of space, so if I don't do my eyeshadow, if I don't do this, it looks emptier. I'm also picking up the shade Ray of Light to use as an inner corner. It's a bit too deep for me, and it is deeper than it is in the pan. I can make it work, sort of, just for you to compare. This is how it looks, and this is how it is on my eye. Definitely more golden on my eyes. I wish they didn't do that. Now comes another one of their strong products. These are their Cupid's Arrows color stilos. They have like a plethora of colors. I have brown and black. They have a darker brown. I also have one which is called Cappuccino somewhere. They have blues, they have purples, they have pinks. These are great. You can use these as eyeliners, you can use them in your waterline, or you can use them as an eyeshadow base. Once they set, they don't move. The only thing is they have a very big point, so you need to be a bit more careful when you're doing your eyeliner. What I'm gonna do is take an angled brush, I'm gonna swipe it on the product, and I'm gonna use it as an eyeliner this way. I'm going for a brown eyeliner because it fits the look better. See, these are super easy to blend. You just need to make sure you're acting quick before they set. Just because I don't feel complete without it, I'm gonna use the black in my waterline. This helps your lashes look fuller, and just a tiny bit of black in the eyeliner as well, like this, just on the wing. I have applied the first random mascara I could find. Honestly, I don't have Nablas because I am fine with my lashes and I prefer spending my money in other products. And now let's get to the newest product launch. So these are their close-up blurring powder blushes. I think they came out with 6. I have 3 here. I have Petite, Enigma, and Endorphin. I really love the fact that the packaging mirrors the shade of the blush. I think it's so cute, but also so convenient when you are fishing for blushes in your collection. So these blushes claim to be super blurring, and they have their pressed powder, which is called Close Up, and so these blushes were inspired by their blurring powder, and they created blurring blushes. So they came out with powder blushes, which is, I think it's nice that they do their own thing. They are still following trends because we're all about blushes these days. By the way, did you see the Nuda Beauties one that have been sneak peeked? I cannot wait. Anyways, they're doing powders when everybody else is doing liquid blushes. I like that because not everybody likes liquid blush. Sometimes you just want something that sets your makeup and that stays a bit more. These are the 3 shades I got. Let's swatch them. The first one is Petite. This is a baby pink. Yeah, they're not gonna be swatching a lot because the thing about these is that you should, if you want to, you should build them up. And they aren't like super pigmented from the get-go, which I really appreciate. I have this like shade in the Petite blushes and I almost never wear it because I know that I will have to blend it a lot, or I will have to tap my brushes 1000 times, or that it will look like a clown at first and I have to go back with foundation. So I appreciate that these are buildable. This is the shade Enigma, which is a mauvey shade. I think that this is the shade you go for when you don't know which blush to wear with your look. That's like a safe zone type of blush. Then you have Endorphin, which is a strawberry shade, and yeah, this is by default a bit more pigmented because I think this would look great on darker skin tones, but since they are buildable, I probably can make this work. And today we're gonna try this because I fell in love with this shade when I saw it, even though it's not typically meant for my skin type and my skin color. So let's see how pigmented it is on my fair skin. I want to do a look inspired by these, just like strawberry blush. I'm gonna tap my brush a bit and let's see, it is there. So if this was a Petite blush, I know that I would look like I belong in a circus right now, but since it's very like medium to low pigment, yeah, I can make this work like easily. I still think that I need to fuss with it a little bit because it's not, you know, native on my skin. Like that's not a color that I would normally blush, but I like it. It pulls a bit more fuchsia on my skin though, rather than like this strawberry red. And I'm applying a little bit on my nose too, to have that sunburnt look, as well as here near my nose, because that's where you normally burn if you stay under the sun for too long. I know it looks crazy right now. I will fix this. So what I'm gonna do is I take my sponge and I'm gonna soften the edges so that it fades a little bit better with my skin, especially here. And I never allow my blush to go lower than my nose. I feel like it drags my face down, so I just bring it back up with my foundation sponge. And another thing I don't really love is this line of separation between my eye and my blush. So we will fix that as well. So this is a toned down version of the blush. I really like it. And let's go actually into Petite. And I'm gonna use this to bridge the gap between my eye and the blush. I'm gonna go like on the blush but closer to my eye and just softly diffuse it like this. See the difference between this and this? I think this looks much more natural, less, you know, intentional. Since this is a more skin tone friendly for me shade, I'm also going over my cheeks a little bit. Okay, so now that the blush is applied, a few considerations since it's the newest product. I don't think these are the most blurring blushes I tried. For me, the best blushes like that blurs my skin. It basically makes my pores look smaller and almost disappear. It's this one from ColourPop. This is the shade Kiss and Tell. I cannot tell you about the other shades because I've tried just this and maybe one more, but I always use this. This is a replacement I got. This blush really really blurs, and it is like the perfect blush shade for me. So I do think that these Nabla blushes, they claim to be blurring. I think they're just powder blushes, okay? They do what usually powder blushes do, but I really like the fact that you can play with them, make them, adjust them, add more pigment, because I think that that is something that is lacking at this time in the makeup industry. Everybody is focused on producing cream or liquid blushes that instantly deliver too much pigment, like the Rare Beauty ones. And yeah, basically everybody's copying with Rare Beauty. That's not always what people want. Sometimes we want buildable blushes. By the way, Nabla does have a more luminous blush. This is the Skin Glazing in the shade Independence. I will show it to you swatched. This has like a luminosity to it, so it's got a completely different type of blush. You can see how luminous that is. So if you're interested in a more luminous blush, these are great. Honestly, they don't emphasize pores too much. They are definitely not like new Rare Beauty luminizer blushes. The pearl is very soft. And last but not least, let's pair a lipstick with this look. So I have the new Beyond Blurry lipsticks. I have 5 shades. There are 6 in total. I might as well have gotten the last one, but I really love these because they're so soft. They're super comfortable to use. You can just dab them on for a bitten look, or you can go full swipe. I'm using these a lot. I'm going for the color Aphrodite since it's a reddish shade, and you can see I can just dab this on and blend it, and I have a soft lip. But today I'm gonna use a bit more. So what I like about these lipsticks, apart from, you know, the formula, is that they last a long time. So even when I'm eating, they leave like a natural looking but very pretty stain behind. And these are not stains, these are regular lipsticks, but they fade really well. They fade and wear really well. So this is everything today for a full face of Nabla Cosmetics. Overall, I really like the brand. I like their vision. I like the shades they come out with. I really think that they are worth giving them a try. The only thing I would say is their shipping fees are a bit high. I do hope that in the future they provide more choices, because I spent like $20 shipping for 3 items. They have DHL Express, so it gets there in like 7 days max. They are at your house. It's very fast, but it's a bit pricey, and I think that they should have like a minimum spent free shipping like other brands do. They don't do that. I think they do that only in Italy. Anyways, I hope you like the makeup look, and I hope that you will consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps out a lot, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!